Hello! In this video, I'll be going through the puzzles and optional treasure chests in Mona's Mirage. In this domain, there are 4 rooms with each room having a corresponding pattern. So I'm going to be naming these patterns so I can refer to them easily. So there is the bowl pattern, there is the tree with legs, there is a pattern which I'm just going to call an X because it looks like there's an X in the center, and there is the penguin pattern. There are 2 shards corresponding to each door, and they have to be placed in the upper slot and the lower slot. Most of the puzzles in Mona's Mirage revolve around the star guides. Interacting with a guide will rotate it, while attacking it will either activate its path or deactivate it. The main idea is to match a certain pattern with the paths that each guide creates. And a good method to solve patterns like this is to work from one end of the pattern to the other end. So for the first room, the bowl room, you have to match the pattern in the sky. Here is one of the possible solutions to this puzzle. The lighted circles indicate whether the guide should be activated, and the arrows show the direction they should point at. Note that there can be multiple solutions to a puzzle, so there might be other ways to solve it. After solving this puzzle, there will be an area ahead that is initially blocked but it opens later. I'm still not too sure exactly what opens this barrier, like whether it's a mechanism in another room, but either way, by the time the quest is completed, this barrier will be opened. So head further in and there will be 3 puzzles to match with patterns on the wall. So here are the solutions to these 3 puzzles. So one thing to be careful of is overlapping paths. So if you have 2 guides that are both activated pointing at each other, it might not make the puzzle complete. So you might have to turn off one of them like I did with this one. So completing these 3 puzzles, an arrow will appear on the wall, pointing you to the next area. When you head to the wall, you realize that there is a hidden door there that can be opened. When you enter the new area, remember to grab the conch on the left. This area also has a new puzzle. So basically there are 4 buttons on the floor that correspond to 4 different groups of stars in the sky, and your goal is to match the stars with the pattern on the floor. So here are the stars that each button corresponds to. The left group, the top group, the right group of stars, and the bottom group of stars. So match each of the sections separately to get this final pattern on screen. Once done, a star will appear. Follow the star out of the room and down all the way until you get to a dodging challenge that gives you a chest when you complete it. Some tips for the dodging challenge. I actually didn't know about this until after I did it. But the stars can't hit you while you're in the air. So characters like Venti, whose E keeps you high in the air, will be really good at helping you pass the challenge. Also, I would recommend keeping near to the center, as there are invisible boundaries around the area that might get you hit when you're not expecting it. Once done with the challenge, exit through the door and get your luxurious chest. For the second room, or the tree with legs room, the pattern to match is in the sky through a roof gap. There is a star in the room that leads you to it when you touch it. Here is the solution for the puzzle. This puzzle is a little bit tricky as the perspective of the pattern and the layout of the guides is flipped. It's also pretty hard to see the pattern in full being through a roof gap. In the optional area, there are 2 buttons that move the middle wall. First, move the wall once using the button on the right to reveal the enclosed area on the left side. Then, use the button in the enclosed area and the pattern to match will reveal itself. Solve the puzzle and you will get a chest. The pattern for this puzzle can only be seen in the enclosed room, so you will actually need to remember the pattern or refer to it occasionally. But it's a pretty simple pattern though, simply connecting each star guide to its left and right, so it shouldn't be that difficult to complete. Here is my solution to this puzzle. In the next room, there are a bunch of platforms. First, make your way to the other side and insert the corresponding shard into the device. This, along with touching 3 other stars around the room, will reveal the complete pattern that you will need to match. Here is the solution to this puzzle. The paths between each platform appear when you step on the platform and disappear after you reach the end of the path. The third room, or the X room, the pattern is behind a barrier. Solve this puzzle to bring down the barrier to the optional area. This was my solution to the puzzle. Going further in, you will pass a pool of water. Continue and there will be another puzzle in front to solve, but the pattern is only fully revealed after you destroy the hydro ember in the room. This is the solution to the puzzle. After solving the puzzle, the illusory stone will be passable. Next, there are a few fake chests that give you nothing when you try to open it. However, if you destroy the hydro ember in the room, you will be able to see the reflection of the real chest in the water. This is the one that can be looted. Going further in, you will see 4 hydro monuments. However, only one of them is actually hydro and can be activated with hydro. Activating it will fill the floor with water, and you will then be able to see the true elements of the other monuments. Activate these to get another chest. Lastly, there is a room with 5 braziers and some rocks. Destroy the rocks to drain the pool at the start of this area. If you look closely at the braziers, you can see that 3 of them are brighter than the other 2. So light up these 3 and then you'll get another chest. Remember when heading back to the main room to pick up the chest at the bottom of the drained pool. The last room, or the penguin room, the pattern to match with it is in the sky. There is a button that swaps the patterns to match, and it could be that matching any of the patterns would work, but for me I did the one that looks like a windmill, and this is the solution that I used. After completing the puzzle, a blue field will appear at the bottom. Go to the center of the field and ascend to find the chest. Next, go up the spiral stairs and there will be a room with a pretty unique puzzle. This time, it isn't about matching a pattern, but each path creates a floor that can be walked on, and the goal is to get to the top and touch the star. So this is the solution that I used. After touching the star will create a blue field on the floor, which functions like a water lift. The water lift can take you 2 levels higher, and on each floor, there is a chest. The final chest is located in the center of the domain. Go down the stairs and through the door into Mona's house in Mondstadt and touch the globe. You'll find yourself in an area with 4 buttons and a giant scry glass in the sky, with a pattern on it. The goal is to draw Mona's constellation on the scry glass. The buttons control one of the stars in the scry glass. Once you are done, exit the domain to get a luxurious chest. So that's all of the chests and puzzles in Mona's domain. I really enjoy puzzles and I really like this domain, that's why I decided to make a video about it. Some stuff I'm still not that sure exactly. For example, the first room's optional area, I'm still not sure how exactly it's opened, and the 4th room's swapping of patterns. So feel free to talk about it in the comments below. I hope that this video was helpful and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!